Hello guys, well this is the first video that I'm going to be doing, having a look at Drombo in the big change for me from hardware to iPad. I went through what I was going to be looking at in yesterday's video and today. I'm just going to show you the basics, how it works and why it appeals to me. So let's just get stuck right in. So here you've got your 1, 2, 3. There is 8 tracks. You can have more than 8 tracks, which is a biggie. But for creativity and limitations wise, I'm not going to be using more than 8 tracks. I was used to the Digitact, which had 8 tracks, and I found that limitations really helped in my workflow in general. So yeah. So you've got your tracks, you've got your sends, you've got your master, main, which is where you can see all your tracks, sort of like a mixer, adjust your levels, etc. You hit a track and this is what you get. Below here is your sequencer. So there's 16 steps there, but that can be more, but for now we're just going to use the 16 steps. I think it can go up to, I think it's 128 steps. Which is quite a lot. I'll firm that up in the coming weeks, but it's I know it's definitely more than 16. What you've got here is you've got your velocity, your gate, offset, probability, retrig, cycle, all these options up here. This is your automation. You can actually automate, and what I like about it is that you can automate, well, say on the Electron devices, like on the Digitact, when you did your automation, it was sort of like step automation, and this is to an extent, but you can smooth it out that much that it wouldn't appear that way. So we'll be looking at that in the future, but today I'll just have a look at how you get things going on Drombo and why it appeals to me. I've used a lot of apps, and this seems to be the most instant, and it, like I said, it relates to the Electron style workflow, which is probably why it's so instant. But let's get something going. So we go to this plus here, we've got generator, processor, modulator, etc. We're just going to open a standard oscillator. And what we've got there is a sine wave, sawtooth, square, and triangle. Got a tune in here. Like I said, I'm using a mouse, so it's a little bit more complicated. I'm just using the mouse because without a mouse, I've got no way of showing you guys what I'm clicking. So that's a downfall of it for YouTube videos, anyway. So it's like a modular setup. So you've opened up an oscillator, you've got an oscillator going, that will just continue until you tell it not to continue. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to plus, you've got generator here, and you've got processor here, and in your processing section you should have not a modal resonator, don't want that. So we'll go down to, choosing my pen here guys because it's so difficult. Amplitude envelope ADSR, what you get in your standard synthesizers. And there we go. And then if we use our little keyboard down here, which you can change into a piano roll, but I'll keep it as this for now. Let's change it to a sawtooth. And there we go. We've got something a little bit more controlled. And what happens is when you put these in, so you notice here that this little indicator here is indicating that it's getting a signal from the oscillator. The good thing about Drombo is that you're not having to connect everything yourself. You sort of If an app had common sense, Drombo would have common sense. Although sense in this industry isn't common. Not that it's not common, but you know, nothing is like set in stone. It's wild, isn't it? But what I'm saying is it will look for the best connection and it will connect it so it knows that we want our oscillator to run through an amplitude envelope. Sometimes you'll have to connect manually, which I'll show you. But yeah, for now we've got, let's get a sequence going. So here, what you'd do, if you were playing with these and you clicked F last, F would be what goes here. You can change that by holding down F and clicking a different one. So we've got FFD, FFF. We press play on that now. We play with our amplitude envelope. So obviously we've got something going there now, and we go back to our plus sign. Now we want to look for a filter, so we go to processor again, and we go are we in generator, processor, there we go, filters. My eyes are terrible. So we've got analog filter, cone filter, standard filter, and then a couple of other things there which I'm not going to go into just yet. Analog filter is most likely a rough sounding filter. I've not gone into the sonics of it all and you know, the differences, but I'm assuming it's a more aggressive sounding filter. For now, what we'll just do for the purpose of this video, keep it simple, is use filter. So automatically that has connected, if you have a look here, has connected to here. So we're getting a signal, we're getting a flow. Got filter types there, high pass, band pass, different slopes, very versatile. So if we stop that now, we want a little bit of difference in that. So maybe we want the D note, we want the filter to open up a little bit more, so we hold down the D and we just pull right there. Now when we press play, that's where the similarities to the electron workflow sort of come in, with the parameter locks, which is just amazing because it's so unlimited on this thing. I forgot to mention as well, which I should probably mention because it's very important, this isn't mono. It is 16 voices per track. It was 8 voices, just gone up to 16 voices per track, which is a whole lot of power. And if you wanted to add in, so say we'll go to our F here, we hold it down, and we want to add in more notes, we click. Well, it won't at the minute because we've got our voices set to 1, so let's set it to 4. So we go to F, maybe I have to put it in. I have to put it in all at once. See, I'm learning something new every day. So that is now a chord. Instead of adding it with like single finger, I had to hold the chord in. So let's press play on that now. That doesn't sound great, but it's just giving an example of what you can do with the sequencer. Let's have a look. So we'll add an LFO. So I'll show you now how to manually connect these things. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold filter, we're going to pull it to the side. You get a little plus arrow here, and this is where we're going to put our LFO. So we'll go to modulator, LFO. Now we've got an LFO here. Right, so if we wanted to modulate that filter, for example, or resonance, tell you what, we'll use the cutoff. We'll click this arrow here, and it's going to ask us to select an output. We don't want the amplitude envelope, we don't want the oscillator, we want the LFO. So we'll click this here. Now a little sign here will indicate that the filter is now being controlled by the LFO. In the next few videos I'm going to show you the oscilloscopes, etc. Which I'm going to do a detailed explanation on the LFOs, and using an oscilloscope can really help understand what the LFO is doing. But for now, for this short video, just to show you how to get things going, I'm just going to do it like this. So we'll press play. Now this here is the amount that the LFO is going to affect the filter cutoff. Let's move it up. We can slow it down. We've got different shapes, sample and hold, square, triangle, etc. All your options here for the frequency options. But that is how to that is the basics of getting something going in Drombo. It's very quick, you know. I'm a little bit slower today because I'm showing you guys, and then for the sake of it, you could go to processor and you could have a look through your effects, and we could add a delay rack. Ooh. Ping pong, and as you can see, it's kept in. We don't need to connect this manually because it's connected automatically, as you can see by the signs here. We'll take the feedback up a little bit, the wet down a little bit, and we'll press play. I'll be listening on headphones. It's a really nice ping pong delay. So they're the basics, guys, of how to get something going in this. I'm not going to do much more today. I'll let you have a little go yourself, see what you think of it, find your feet. I'll just quickly show you now. So if you wanted your velocity to be different, I've got a pen here. Now I'm just going to drag it across the screen. It's as easy as that. So then your velocities would be different, and then you've got probability here, which we'll go into more in the future. And so now that if I press play, just like a digitakt, only certain notes are playing a certain percentage of the time. So yeah, I'll leave it there with you guys for today. Have a go, see what you think, drop me a comment, you know, questions, anything. I'll do my best to answer them. And yeah, so I hope you start to find your feet just like I am with Drombo, and we'll go a lot more. This thing offers so much more. We'll start opening more tracks, we'll do drums, we'll do samples, we'll go through the lot, from the very basics to the more advanced stuff. So take it easy, guys, and don't rule out software. That's what I'm saying, don't rule out software. Hardware is not the only way forward. It is lovely to have, but it's not the only way forward. So check it out, have a crack yourself. So cheers, guys.